Oh, okay. We used to go up there to play soccer in high school.
Oh yeah, I played soccer too. How old are you?
I am 31, so we might have. You're
I'm t-
31.
I'm 34.
Yeah, let's see. How would I had to be? It's possible. It's possible we played, or I might have gone to the game as like B team.
All right, there we go.
Me too.
There we go. Now we're live on Twitch. Excellent. Excellent. Click there and Badger's watching. We got all right, great. We got 6 viewers already. All right, welcome audience. I've got to mute. My name is TD. I am joined by Louisville Snuggler and our special guest, StersMerlin. How you doing this evening, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
Doing great, TD. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. We're going to talk about WAX DeFi today. Very exciting subject. So let me share my screen here because I know that I've seen the wallet.wax.io screen before. I think when you first get into WAX, this is one of the first screens that you see. You come here and you kind of look around and then you see a few intimidating things like ETH bridge and staking rewards, and DeFi is definitely one of them as well. I know that I've clicked on it in the past and, you know, I saw all of this and I said, all right, this isn't for me, at least not yet. And I never came back to it, which was a mistake because the more that I learn about this, the more I really like it. What can you tell me about this WAX DeFi screen that we're looking at here?
Well, a lot like you, I was clicking around in here I used to come in here when I first got into WAX and I'd go look at the dApps, right, and go see what different things were available. And I noticed that DeFi thing. And at the time, I was really getting into Ethereum DeFi more and more, which I mean, we are still very early on in Ethereum DeFi. If everyone is unfamiliar with the Ethereum space, everyone refers to last summer, this summer of 2020, as DeFi summer. It's when it really took off in Ethereum. And I got involved in that a little bit. And of course, over the course of the year, as it began to show more returns, I became more and more interested. So it paid to be, interested in this stuff. So then, gas fees, of course, on Ethereum become very, they're obviously very expensive because block space is very, I guess, precious, or it's a scarce resource, and people are willing to pay a lot of economic activity. So I had noticed this DeFi thing on WAX before. So I thought maybe I could get involved. I could front run an opportunity here on WAX if I learned about this DeFi system. What I came to see, though, is that it's actually tied back to the Ethereum blockchain.
And Ethereum's like the backbone of WAX, actually.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, and maybe somebody in the audience can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe WAX started on Ethereum, period. It was on WAX first. Can anybody fact check me on that?
I can tell you that's true. Yeah, their ICO, so back in 2017 during the ICO craze, when everyone was doing, these initial coin offerings.
Yeah.
Basically, all you had to do was get a white paper, and you could raise $1 million on Ethereum. It was really all it took, and a lot of people got rugged. I invested. I mean, I didn't lose like $100 here or there, but everyone was investing in these things, and WAX was one of them that came out. They took the money and they actually went and built a product. Of course, they ended up eventually forking EOS, which was also another ICO on Ethereum.
So, and what was the name of that? Was that WAX E?
No. So I think it was called WAX. I think that's why it's called WAX P now.
Gotcha. Do we know what the P stands for? Protocol, or we don't know?
That's probably protocol. Yeah, because you have the WAX P, which would be WAX protocol token, and then you have WAX economic token, which is WAX E, and then WAX G, which is the WAX governance.
Okay, so then what is WAX E? What's the next step on this page? So I know what WAX P is. That's just WAX. That's what we We don't really say the P when we're referring to it, but that's what it is. It's the WAX P token. Oh yeah, it says it right there. Look at that. Hot protocol.
In easy terms, like in super easy terms, WAX P is essentially a bridge. WAX P to WAX E is it's a bridge from EOS to Ethereum. That's it. You can literally swap over from WAX to Ethereum, and which you can imagine what opportunities that would bring anyways, but in easy terms, that's what it is. It puts WAX on Ethereum.
Yeah, and so
it goes deeper.
I think that the one thing that's important for me and that I've been thinking a lot about and trying to understand is like, why are they, so they're over here on the EOS delegated proof of stake chain. Why is it that they are trying to connect it back to Ethereum? And so they have a Medium article that explains sort of how they lay this out. They have their GitHub, which goes into some more of the technical details. And then there's also a video that the WAX creators did with Any Observation. And what they essentially say is that they see WAX as a superior platform for making and trading NFTs. This is the consumer activity. Yeah. But they say it's not the best place to custody and maximize the transaction value from that activity. That is the DeFi functions. And so they see Ethereum as the monetary hub for the WAX NFT trading empire, which I think is really cool. I love the phrase, like the meme that the WAX NFT trading empire, but they see Ethereum as the monetary hub for that.
Okay, so we have a great question from our audience. So is it worth to do DeFi on that? Any API or something? And I think this segues very good into the other WAX token, right?
Yeah, we're going to break this down pretty good here. So as far as it from a DeFi APY, I don't think you can really probably find, you'd have to calculate that percent on your own, but I don't think you could find that out there because it's based on the economic activity on WAX itself. So
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you really quick. By economic activity, what do you mean by that? Is that like just trading on Atomic Hub? Does that count?
Any transaction. There is a little tiny micro of WAX that goes into that. And then also, I think there's a 2% fee on, say, Atomic Hub that goes into this as well.
Yeah, there sure is. And I think I've seen that before when I've gone to list. Tell me if I'm right here. But like if I go to sell my basic explosive here.
Tokenomics fee.
Yeah, this goes to Atomic Hub. And this tokenomics fee, this 2% here, where is that going? Is that relative to what we're talking about?
Yes, so it does. Yeah, they burn this. They previously used to burn these tokens. Then it would be deflationary for WAX P. Now what they're doing is they're going to take what they're already doing it. They're taking these earnings from just the economic activity on WAX itself and putting it into WAX E and staking it with Ethereum. So essentially providing liquidity there. And then by doing so, you actually get awarded WAX G tokens. So we can break down this step by step of that. But
Sters, go ahead and add to that. Do you have a kind of like in your head a step by step of that breakdown? Where would we start?
Yeah, I do. But before walking through this, I think it's important that we understand the larger concept of what they're trying to do here and what they're borrowing a lot of the stuff that happened during Ethereum's DeFi summer. That sort of a lot of that is what they've done on this layer 1 WAX blockchain. And so the first idea is a decentralized autonomous organization, or a DAO. Are you guys familiar with those or have heard of them?
Yep.
So I heard of the ETH DAO, the one that
that's the
Ethereum Classic used to be on.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they forked it to so that the DAO hack didn't. They actually reverted that transaction, which is interesting. So that was the first DAO, and the idea there was that they have an autonomous code that's governed by users. And the way that they govern it is by having governance tokens. And so that's the second big idea that we need to understand here is these governance tokens allow you to vote on things for the protocol. So it's how you get your voice into the decentralized organization. And this is sort of the social coordination layer is through these governance tokens.
Okay.
So that's sort of the DAO and how these things are coordinated is through the tokens, right? But the next thing that they're borrowing is this thing called liquidity providing. And in the WAX ecosystem, we're familiar with Alcor. And there's two ways you can interact with Alcor. There's like the trading where you can list a sell or whatever, or there's the swap function. And that swap function is called an automatic market maker or an AMM. Okay. And it's where a user gets up there and they will list two tokens, right? And the way that this works is that the product of those two tokens is always constant. The incentive for the person who's providing that liquidity is that they get some transaction fee every time someone uses that swap, right?
Right, gotcha. Yeah. I think it's like a very small amount, right? 0.03% or something like that.
It's 0.3% on Uniswap, which was the originator of this idea on Ethereum. So they were the first ones to implement this. And
Uniswap's actually the platform. If you use the bridge here, Uniswap is the one that carries forth that transaction for you.
And so that's where we're going is that. So we have DAOs, we have governance tokens, and now we're talking about liquidity providers. So when you go in and you provide this token pair, you get another token which represents your share of the liquidity pool.
Right. I think I've seen that in Alcor. Like when I've created my Wax Taco pair, I get some weird token back. That's called like Wax Taco. It's the combination of both symbols.
And so what you can then do, what these DAOs want to do is they want liquidity. They want to be able to move in and out of their governance token. And so what they'll do is they will incentivize people to become liquidity providers. So on top of earning whatever small fee it is, 0.3% or whatever it is on the AMM, they are going to pay you out in governance tokens. And the way that they do that is having you stake your liquidity, your LP liquidity provider token.
The pair token, the Ethereum and the WAX E side together, you stake that token and you get the WAX G governance token.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, so I'm going to take WAX P and WAX E, right, and create a liquidity pair with them?
No, so you need to swap WAX P to WAX E, and it's at a rate of 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, so I believe that's right.
1,000 WAX will buy you 1 WAX E.
That's static. That doesn't change, right?
That never changes. That's right. So, and what you'll actually need to have to be on through this right here on wallet.wax.io, you'll have to log into MetaMask for it to work properly. And so when you log into there, you'll be able to execute that transaction. Now you'll need Ethereum in there because it's going to cost you gas.
Right. Because anytime we're doing anything on Ethereum, even if it's this here, we're bridging this token, we're going to have to pay gas fee, right?
Right. And it's this price never changes. So you can to swap them WAX P to WAX E. So you can do this during low volume times and save on gas. It's no rush. There's a reason why there's no rush because, a little forward down, you'll see why there's really no rush because it's staking periods on this one. So,
right. So here's the question from our audience here. So you get rewards in WAX G, and that's an ERC20 token, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And can we sell the WAX G for WAX E again?
No.
And then I'm going to tag on to that question. Is there other ways, like when I have my WAX E, can I turn that back into Wax P at the same rate that I transferred it for the first time? So if I have 1 Wax E, can I turn that back into 1,000 Wax?
Yep.
Yes,
So
it will cost gas.
it will cost gas. So the Wax G, which we haven't really gotten to in this flow here yet, but we did discuss governance tokens earlier. So this is the way that you're going to be able to vote on things for the Wax layer 1 blockchain, which is kind of cool. Right now, as far as I can read, the only thing that we're going to be able to vote on is the amount of the amount of Wax P that gets burned from that 2% that is siphoned off from the protocols running on the Wax blockchain. So currently they've said WaxG token holders will be able to vote on that percentage that gets burned or the percentage that goes to economic activity. And that's what this whole sort of DeFi system here is doing, is it's taking economic activity on the Wax blockchain and it's moving it to the Ethereum blockchain because they're saying that Ethereum is the monetary hub for the Wax NFT trading empire. So that's the whole purpose of creating the Wax E token, is to allow us to get Wax P, which we're pulling off of transactions, onto the Ethereum blockchain.
I see.
So what happened? Go ahead.
To circle all the way back, to get back to his question, he was asking, can you sell it for Wax E? You could if you wanted to. So I'm assuming your purpose in that case would be essentially you're yield farming, you're earning governance tokens, we call it yield farming, from being a liquidity provider. So if I got paid Wax G, maybe I want to take my Wax G yield, convert it to Wax E, and get more Wax P. Right, so you could go back through the bridge that way. Another thing you can do with Wax G, which you can actually see on T Davis's screen here, is it says burn Wax G. So what they're doing here, when they say represent the economic activity of Wax on the Ethereum blockchain, they're actually buying Ethereum and they're putting it into the Wax sort of treasury. So they have a treasury of Wax, and Wax G gives you a claim on that treasury. And if you would like to take your stake in that treasury, you can burn your Wax G and receive ETH in return. So yeah, yes. So there's three things you can do with Wax G. If you can hold it and you can sell it and go back to Wax P or Wax E, whatever you wanted to do. You can vote, or you can burn it for ETH.
Wow.
So
that's pretty flexible governance token there.
All right, well check this out for the Wax G side of it. So Wax G is it has a max supply. There can only ever be 10 million Wax G tokens, and then so they're going to release these out over the next. I think it's every 4 weeks. And it's going to be for a number of years, I think for 4 years or so. Mm-hmm. So 4 weeks at a time per staking period. And there's 10 million Wax G. So that'll get emitted out. Now, here's the thing. When you burn, if someone that's holding their vote tokens, their governance tokens, and they want to cash in and they want to get their Ethereum out of it, when they burn that Wax G, it's out of supply. It'll never be minted again. So you're lowering the supply of Wax G as a whole, increasing so when they burn it, everyone else's individual stake is increasing, percentage wise. So it, the people will profit from burning. People will profit from diamond hands. You got them both. So I mean, it's either or.
So that would make this a deflationary token, right? Wax G is definitely deflationary, the way I understand it. If you're burning it, it's gone, it's never coming back. And then if I understand this correctly, the holding it and voting also makes Wax P deflationary. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of, because what they're doing is they're taking the Wax P and pushing it into Wax E. Instead of straight up just burning it. They used to send it to a burn dot something account. I think it's like burn dot wax dot burn.
Okay.
and they would get destroyed there. But instead of doing that, they're going to take that wax and they're going to push it into Wax E and put it with the pair so that it'll establish liquidity already within the governance token. So it sounds like they're going to be providing liquidity as well, Wax themselves.
Yep, you were right. It is called burn.wax is the account if you want to look on wax.blocks.io. That's where they send it to burn.
Oh, really? Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, yeah, there it is.
So you can watch them burn wax here. Whether or not WaxP as a whole becomes deflationary is difficult to figure out. I haven't, because the way that the block producers are rewarded is from the economic activity that they're securing. And so it's not like a fixed fee like it is on like Ethereum right now, I think is 2 ETH. You know, every block is always 2 ETH plus tips.
Okay.
So it's been hard for me to figure out whether or not WaxP is deflationary based, because I can't figure out what their issuance rate is, but I'm sure someone will eventually create a nice dashboard for that.
Yeah, so I can't find anything as far as I know that there has a lot to do with the block producers that are being voted for, and I think that they get a portion of the stash of the new production coins of the WaxP. So that's why it's always a big push to get voted in as a block producer on WaxP. It's kind of like mining, I guess you can say.
Exactly.
Form of mining. We have a lot of block producers located all over the world. You can see them on wax.blocks, representing everywhere.
All right, so we have a question. Is there any real numbers for rewards after 4 weeks for staking one Wax E, which would be, I think he's got those backwards. Let's find that one Wax E, aka 1000 Wax P.
Yeah.
So you would need to pair. You would need to provide liquidity to the Uniswap pair and get Wax E dash ETH liquidity token, and then you stake that liquidity token for the Wax governance token.
So it doesn't. What am I pairing it with? Ethereum.
Wax E to Ethereum.
Yep.
And so I'm going to need. I see the login for MetaMask here. So let's say, like, if I wanted to get started on this, I'm going to have to log in with my Wax wallet and my MetaMask. Correct?
Yes.
I have a link for the claim histories for people staking and claiming on the Etherscan. This is the contract on Etherscan. If you want to see,
do you want to show your screen?
Yeah, I can do that.
I can tell you that exact number because that's actually exactly what I did when I was interested in this. And so I set this up in May, and I did exactly one Wax E to ETH. And I have been rewarded 9.6 Wax G since then. So at $2 a Wax G, I've got like $20.
Over what period of time?
Since like May, so over a couple months. So
and was that just one Wax E?
One Wax E, yeah.
Okay.
How much Ethereum is that? Like, what was the other half of that pair?
Whatever.
Not much at the time.
Yeah, like whatever. No. Wax E is actually $170. So whatever $170 is in ETH.
Of ETH, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not so like it shows like if you go back to that thing, it says your share of the Uniswap Wax ETH pool. It literally shows that I have 0.00%. So I have less than 0.1% of the Wax ETH pool. But I was doing this to be because I was interested in doing this. I have been interested in coming back and upping my share, but I just haven't done it yet because gas fees are very high, and you kind of have to. This was something I was going to say earlier when you talked about burning the Wax E from Wax P to Wax E. It's expensive in gas, so you want to do as much as possible. Like if you're going to do this, if you're actually going to provide this liquidity, you need to be staking a sizable sum unless you're just trying to learn, which is essentially what I did. But if you're bullish on some of these assets, there's no reason you need to stake to own them.
Gotcha. And so that was one of the questions here. This is a long term to cover the gas fees. I think you kind of answered that.
It's long term, and you'd want to do a sizable portion. Like I did $100, and I won't make that back for years, I'm sure. But again, I'm just interested in learning this stuff, and I have said I think I wish I had numbers on like what would $1,000 get me. I don't have that though. It's a great question, and I plan to do that. It's just I haven't done it yet.
For the claim side of it, though, you can like when you look at what they were actually getting paid. It looks like on average, I'm seeing like this is on the token contract itself. Let me see. I DM'd you the that link, TV, if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, sure.
And this is laid out, so it's always going to be, it's always, well, how much you get paid is going to vary on how much everyone else is staking. It's your total percent. It's a lot like mining, right? Like how much you get paid at the block reward if you're in a pool is your percentage of the total hash power. It's the exact same idea. The amount you get paid in your yield is your percentage of the total locked value of the liquidity pool.
If you own 1%, they're going to pay you 1% of the WAX governance token payout for that period.
Right, which is
that would be quite a bit, I would say.
So it's they're doing 5 million over 4 years with 4-week periods. So that means
half the supply is being held in trust.
Divided by 54 per week, multiplied by I should have divided that by 12. Sorry, 125. So that should be divided by 12. So it's like 5.5 million WAX G per epoch. So they refer to these epochs. And so if you're going to be involved in one of these, you have to be a liquidity provider from the start of the epoch, the start of the 4 weeks, to the end of that 4 weeks.
You can't end it early.
So it's every month that you're getting paid out. So I haven't been paid out a month yet.
No partial rewards. If you stake, so then I think the next one and the next start is in 12 days. That's why I said there's no like rush to get into anything like this. Do your own research and
Yeah. So what was this link you sent to me? This is
the payout contract for the actual governance token.
Gotcha.
For when people burn it. So what you're seeing right here, where it says claim, this is where people have claimed their portion. They burned their governance token.
Why does it say value 0 Ether though?
Because it doesn't. It needs an oracle, and it's not pulling it from Uniswap. So to know the price, like WAX G isn't even listed on CoinGecko. It's literally. It's on Uniswap v2 version 2. There's a version 3 out, which has its own intricacies, but it's not listed. It's not being. It needs an oracle to pull that from, and it's not. I believe the reason. I'm assuming actually the reason that it's not pulling it enough is because there's not a source of the price hooked up to Etherscan. It doesn't know where to look for the price, essentially.
Right, but you can see the gas fees at the time. I mean, you would imagine that the payout would be more than what the gas fees were, right?
So that's the thing is I haven't claimed any of mine yet. Like I'm just gonna let this build. I can't do anything with my WAX G right now. There's no governance proposals. The only thing that I can use yet, they're still building this DeFi module out. If you go to the WAX webpage, you'll see on their roadmap, which they have these little blocks. If you scroll down, it says DeFi, and that's what they're working on now. So they're still building this out, so you can't vote on them yet. There's really nothing I can do with these. I am just I am bullish on the WAX blockchain, and so I think I just want to hold the governance token of the WAX blockchain. That's just something I'm interested in doing.
So you can see here that it's got. I mean, I showed this to Louis, and he said that this was before he looked into it. This was a few days ago, back when you and I talked, Sters, and like on the surface, this doesn't look very appealing. Am I right?
Sure, yeah. It looks like the wax token is $2.22, and the total liquidity is 12,000. So this is something I could do with my wax. It's like I could go stake it on Uniswap, and then I could at least earn the small fees on the $1,000 per 24 hours. I could earn 0.3% on that.
But they haven't even really started using this yet.
Like essentially no one knows what this is.
Yeah, no one knows about this yet. So it's like,
and here we are, right? This is why.
Crack in on the let's get the governance tokens before everyone else does. we can decide what happens with the wax launch.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you talk about FOMO and all of that, and I guess we missed our disclaimer. This is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We are not your investment oracles. We are three dudes talking about an unbelievable opportunity to get rich.
whatever. No, you have to.
I'm kidding.
No, I bet there's gonna be that one person, But seriously, this is seriously something that we just stumbled. Everyone in this chat and everyone coming to these videos are probably going to be familiar with Wax, Theta, 88, Ethereum, BSC, Card, all those, whatever, that are launching NFTs. You're here because of NFTs.
Right.
So this is a governing model that Wax is trying to adopt. And it's quite new. It's earlier this year was when it started. And so there's still... it's very, very new. And as new coins are issued, you may not see a price increase or whatever, but long term with the burn mechanic, with people wanting to claim their Ethereum, if Ethereum goes way up in price, they're going to want their Ethereum, so they're going to end up burning their governance token. And then that's just going to end up increasing your own stake. So you can thank them for that. Or you can burn it yourself down the road, but it's definitely something great. But there's really, really something that I read that's very awesome. It's the last lines in their GitHub. I have that here, I think, right? Yeah, so this is it here. Let me go ahead and paste this one. I pasted one of the links probably a little early. So here is the GitHub page, github.com/worldwide-asset-exchange/DeFi. Sit down with a cup of coffee and your thinking cap on. It's not that hard of a read, but there's a lot to it. And it's great, though. It's like, whoa. We've been buying NFTs with WaxP all the time, but we could have been doing something else with, with our extra all along, and we've just been missing out. We've just been having if I have Wax just sitting in my wallet, I had nothing to appropriate it to. Why would I could do that, that would be something that would be worthwhile to me, personally. But there's the last lines there, it says bi-directional Ethereum bridge supporting USDT and other altcoin deposits and withdrawals to and from Wax blockchain. And then this is the even bigger kicker. A bi-directional Ethereum bridge supporting ER721 and ERC1155 NFTs to be moved between Ethereum and Wax. Ethereum-based tokens will be mapped onto atomic assets standard on the Wax blockchain. Finally, Wax blockchain-based assets based on simple assets or atomic assets standards will be mapped onto ERC 1155 standard to Ethereum, which makes it so that a lot of Wax NFTs that you have could be Ethereum NFTs being sold on OpenSea not too long from now. Really, it says 2021. That's huge. We're talking Ethereum games meeting Wax games, or Wax games becoming Ethereum backed games in general, but using Wax for the speed and processing capabilities. there's just it solves a big problem on Ethereum gaming by bridging it to Wax. So it's just a big circle of Wax P, Wax E, Wax G, and I think it's brilliant. I think what Wax is doing here is a lot better than what they were doing, and that was just literally just burning Wax P to keep it deflationary. But now they're turning it to Wax E and doing something with it on Ethereum. So,
yeah, I definitely want to second that. This is the exciting part, is like what comes next. Like, yeah, they've created this cool bridge where you can move ERC20 tokens in between the EOS or the Wax P, the EOS IO is what they call it, their ecosystem. So you can move those assets in between them. What they talk about doing in here, though, is, again, you're going to be able to represent ERC20 tokens on the Wax blockchain. That's the first thing, right? Like, the next thing is you'll be able to essentially lock up things on the Ethereum blockchain and then represent them and move them around on Alcor. You'll have ERC20 tokens represented on our Wax blockchain that they're going to use this same ERC20 bridge to move them back and forth. And then, like, the next step beyond that is, of course, the ERC 721 standard and the 1155, I think it is. What they're saying right now, and I'm less bullish on this, is that you're going to be able to move them from the Ethereum blockchain to the Wax blockchain. And I don't see too many people moving their Ethereum NFTs onto here unless there's some sort of incentive or something that some game provides. I do see it being much more useful the other way, being able to move our Wax assets onto OpenSea, because the liquidity there is just 10, probably 100x what we have on Wax. And so it just opens up a whole new marketplace to the Wax ecosystem for, especially our more valuable NFTs on Wax.
Right.
Well, you could build games, though, Wax based, and then have the NFTs as Ethereum, where you could play it on either. But, Wax would dominate that because of the transaction speed and the gas cost. You just have a CPU instead. It's
definitely an option, right? We have on Ethereum, we have layer 2s and side chains, and these are already operational. Like side chains like Matic, which is Polygon, and then we have the 0x protocol, which has got some on. So these are specialized layer 2s that are currently open, and this month we're going to start to see the first of the general purpose layer 2s. These are going to be Arbitrum and Optimism. And so this month we're going to see Arbitrum. And so these layer 2s, they're essentially what Wax is doing, and Polygon has done this somewhat, and it could be argued better than Wax. They've certainly been adopted faster than Wax by being EVM compatible, Ethereum virtual machine compatible. Like you can run the same code on both of them. MetaMask runs on. So they were able to, you can call it a vampire attack almost, grab the Ethereum user base and say, hey, you can do everything you can on Ethereum. We're EVM compatible. Just come on over here and everything's cheaper.
Litecoin.
Similar. But Wax is doing that, but it has its own ecosystem. And in some ways, I think it's good, because we've done a lot of things that, like, I have not seen at all on the Ethereum. Like, I think in some ways, like, the way that we drop links to each other, the way that we I just read this question, it threw me off. The way that we have these pack openings and all this creative stuff is stuff that I actually think the Ethereum NFT ecosystem is farther behind us in the creativity aspects. And I think they'll rapidly get there. But now that there is this bridge between the two, it bodes very well for Wax, in my opinion.
Win Miranda's.
And so the audience is definitely, so this is, let me just say to the audience who are feeling a bit overwhelmed, like I kind of knew this going in, and the subsequent shows we're definitely going to take a lot of steps back. These guys are geniuses, and I know that. That's why I'm so happy that I have them here on the show with me. and we don't expect you guys to fully understand all of this, especially if you're just getting started. And then in subsequent shows, we'll definitely like reference back to, hey, remember when we were talking about that on that Wax G show? Well, here's what this means, and just explain it more. We're gonna do a whole series on liquidity pools and how you get into that. And don't be discouraged if you don't understand what these guys like. I barely understood, more than half of everything that they just said.
Read that GitHub. Go to that GitHub link and read it. And as we do more shows and it unfolds, I mean, it will become clear, and it's very easy to understand. Once you break past like that tiny barrier, you can just you can just see it all, and it's so easy. It's really
so I wanted to circle back to this. So I did post this. Let me post it again. This Medium article, and let me put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. So it looks like this was updated not too long ago, right? A couple months, I guess. What can you guys tell me about this article and the highlights of it, and what was updated? Did we go over most of this already?
Yeah, what was updated was a couple mechanics on how it works that we got into a little bit. So the mechanics that they updated were, one, it's now a two-way bridge. You used to only be able to go from Wax P to Wax E, but what that caused is that Wax E was losing its peg to the value of Wax P. So if you imagine there's an arbitrage circle here that you can kind of go in between, like say you had I don't need to go into the arbitrage circle, but anyways, it was losing its peg to the exact value of what Wax P was. So they opened up a two-way bridge. And here's something that's cool about that I realized today is that this now opens up a new way to buy Wax P. It's not the cheapest way, but if you're in a pinch, you could go on Uniswap, buy Wax E using Ethereum, and then go to this DeFi bridge and then buy Wax and then trade it for Wax P. And so that is one more way to buy Wax P. So that's one thing, is a two-way bridge. And the other thing is they moved it from a 2-week epoch, so your staking time, to a 4-week. So now they only do it every 4 weeks.
Which is that line there? Okay.
Cool. And they might have also added so that they don't sell the Wax E for ETH unless the price is equal to or greater than the previous week. So if the price drops, they literally just hold it. That's another interesting thing they do. So they have diamond hands. The protocol does.
Yeah, the protocol's got diamond hands. It's step one, move, log in with MetaMask, burn Wax P to Wax E, and then if you follow those steps, it'll do it. I mean, you just click on that DeFi option on the Wax wallet.wax.io. And you could literally just go down step by step, and that's how you start doing it. But definitely, you have to do your homework and read on it first. I mean, there's no other way around it. If you don't understand it, then you don't really need to be quite, doing it yet. You need to, take a look at it and see if you're even interested in having any kind of governance say on Wax at all, or if it's even worth it for you, because to some, having governance ability, I mean, that's huge, because you can steer the future. You can steer the future of Wax. I mean, really, with your voting.
Yeah, it depends on what they're going to open up to us that they allow us to do. But there's some, like if you look on Coin Market Cap, just to point out some other governance tokens that you may see, or if you want to look into these and what's going on in these networks, like other ones are Maker, the Aave token, the Compound token. There's a number of these governance tokens. YFI is a governance, exactly. And all of these are used to vote on things in DAOs. And I will tell you that when I first got interested in this, I was buying WaxG before I did this liquidity providing thing. I was just like, oh, I'm just interested in the governance token. So that was one of the first things that I did when I became interested in this, because I also realized that I wasn't going what is the total value locked in? I know you had that Uniswap page pulled up, but it's millions of dollars. So I realized I'm not going to be able to really get too much of a stake in this pool. So it's $6 million, $6.7 million in the Wax E ETH pool. So I was like, my percentage of the rewards is not going to be too large. Now, honestly, $6.7 million, it's a pretty small pool. Like I think $1,000 could be.
Gosh, all right, can you guys walk me through? I just hooked up my MetaMask, so I didn't have it connected to the screen I'm sharing, but I just hooked it up, and so I have ETH in my wallet. I have Wax in this wallet. So if my first step would be to go here, right? Wax P to Wax E, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
click login, top right.
Yeah, I got to log in here. Okay. Click next and connect. All right.
Yep. So now since you put it in, you can get Wax E.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I click this button here.
Yep.
And then confirm, right?
Yep. And you hit confirm. Then it's going to go to your MetaMask. And
sign that. Let's see how much gas that is.
So gas is 42 Gwei right now, which isn't too bad. The lowest we're really seeing is like 30 Gwei. So it's not going to get too much better than this.
All right, so I signed my Wax transaction. That was that first window that popped up. And so now I want to claim my Wax E.
So it's currently processing.
Okay.
It's got to get picked up by a block. It's got to get mined.
Gotcha. And then once that's ready, then I would go over to the DeFi link. And
now you have Wax P and Wax E. So you're now ready to enter into a liquidity pool on Uniswap.
Go ahead and click that deposit.
This one here?
Yep. And you'll see what pops up. It actually brings Uniswap up for you.
There you go.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I need to correct myself. It was ETH and Wax E. Not you now have two ERC20 tokens. So now you can stake on Uniswap.
All right, but so I just need to connect.
Yeah, and you'll just need to wait for that balance to update.
Right.
It could take. That's something that it could take. It could take minutes. It could take 15 minutes.
It depends on how much you pay for gas, which was awesome.
Right. Gotcha. It didn't pop up.
I don't think it let them pick the gas price. I think it just.
Yeah, it sure didn't.
I think it probably just auto chose.
Oh no.
And so I would just click on. Once I have that, then like I know how to do the liquidity, right? So I'm gonna have one Waxy. So I'll click that. This will say 1, and then that'll tell me that I have to do that much ETH.
Yep.
0.05. Yep.
Which
currently right now it
seems to be about $170. Is that what you said earlier, Sters? Is the Waxy price?
Exactly. So I'm just taking that 17.8 cents that we know Wax is and multiplying it by 1,000.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so it says right down here 18. So it would be about 18,000 Wax per Ethereum.
I think
18 Waxy.
I think personally that this is going to be huge for content creators. Creators that get paid off of collection fees and that type of thing. I think that they're going to probably take the advantage of this the advantage is not a good word, but they're going to use this probably more than anybody else. Because they're heavily invested in that chain if they're producing NFTs and getting collection fees off of it. So I think this would be a good bridge and a good place for them to stash it, because then they have governance on the chain that they're producing their NFTs on. So
let me ask you this, guys. So let's say after I create this liquidity pool and I send it off, do I need to do anything after that, or no? It's created on Uniswap, correct?
No. So the next thing is, if you remember back from our larger discussion, once you stake your 2 tokens, you get a token representing your share of the liquidity pool.
Right.
So you're now going to take that token and stake it.
Like in reference earlier, you said Wax Taco. Instead of Wax Taco, you're going to have you're going to have Wax E.
And that's where I'll stake it right here, right?
Yep. You'll click stake, and that'll be your last. That'll be your last ERC20 your last MetaMask.
Now it's no rush, you know, TD. It's no rush because you have to see the next reward cycle doesn't start for 12 days.
Right. So that's the important thing to know. We don't need to worry about this right now. When do we know like when it starts exactly? Like how would I know that? Like how would I know that it's too late?
12 days, 15.
Oh, right in front of my face. Look at that.
Yep, it's a countdown, and just get it in before because there's no partial rewards. Don't you know?
Okay, and then don't take it out before. All right.
Yep, and then from there you have the option to keep the Wax G or burn it. Personally, with it being deflationary, I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin and Litecoin and even Doge. I didn't like them at first, but as I got to thinking more, as more and more went on, it actually over time is a good idea. But as far as you know, it losing its maximum supply of 10 million, it just dropping and dropping and dropping. You know, once it get in 5 million of that is locked up by the actual trust of it all anyway. So only half of it's being put into circulation, if I'm not mistaken. So with that being burned, you have a huge chunk over time. And just like Bitcoin, I mean, it's once it hits 21 million, it's done. There's no more. None.
Cool. So we do have a question here from the audience. So I'm sure you guys have both heard of the way Wax is doing its resources now. I think you have up to like 10 transactions per day that are covered under their V2. So there's no more staking CPU and net immediately when you when you create a wallet. They're doing that for you. And I guess this is the question: will this change in any way with those changes to the resources?
They're linked, I think. I think they're linked, though. I really do. I think some way or fashion, I think that these have somewhat, they play in together somehow in the grand rollout of them changing.
Yeah, I would think so too.
What do you think, Sters? Do you think?
I don't think so. So, like T. Davis said, they're essentially going to stake Wax for you to allow you to do some minimum number of transactions, say like 5 a day. And once you get over that, you need to be staking enough Wax P. So that really refers to the reason we don't have gas on Wax, right, is because what they have you do is lock up your Wax P as a stake. And
so they're just giving you more.
You can, if you've ever done a very long R Planet build, you know how much the CPU.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I've had mine go out on me.
You're like, go. There's only 600. I'm definitely missing it now. But so that really gets into that CPU usage that you're staking.
$17.
Yeah. That's what I said. If you're doing this, you really want to make it worth it. You should.
All right. So wait a minute.
Yeah,
right.
Whatever.
No.
Should I wait?
I would, man.
Okay.
You know, I only say that because you have 12 days. And
okay.
Currently, right now, the markets are a little hot. So I think there's a lot more economic activity going on. Like currently, right now, as we speak, Ethereum's up like 6 to 7%, depending on where you're looking. And so I think that there's a lot of transactions going on the chain right now. So that I think you'll pay unnecessary gas fees if you do it right this second.
All right, and again, there's no rush. I just need to set an alarm so I don't forget about it.
Just do like do like one a day to check it, or like 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I've noticed it's cheaper. So
I monitor the gas prices religiously. I actually have a little widget at the top of my
nice.
a little gas can at the top of my. It's from DeFi Saver, which is a great widget if you're interested in Ethereum gas. Right now, the fast is 38 Gwei, and the lowest that I've seen in the last month has been about 30 Gwei. So
really? So it's not far
off. It's like 1 e to the negative 8 times Ethereum is what a Gwei is. It's like the smallest measurement. It's like a Satoshi.
Have you ever been tipped by a tip bot and you see all and that's what that is?
Get away, right?
Yeah.
It's a tiny amount, but the more complex that your transaction is, the more expensive that becomes. So it's 38 right now. I haven't seen it much lower than 30. I can tell you historically, the lowest gas fees are on Sunday, and it tends to be around 3 o'clock Eastern. So that's actually from an analysis that someone did, where they tracked the most expensive times, which I think was it's either Monday or Wednesday in the afternoon, and then the cheapest time was Sundays around 3 Eastern. So
I bet Monday 9 a.m. is pretty expensive too.
Yep, it does pick up a lot Monday. Exactly. Eastern. Exactly. Yeah, because I'm waking up about 7 here on Mountain Time, which is
Cool.
nice. That's where I see it pick up.
Awesome. Let's see if the audience do you guys have any more questions aside from, hey, ETH is up a lot today. I haven't even looked.
Oh man, the whole market's doing well today.
Oh yeah, it just rocketed off 3,000. Wow.
Everything's up. Like everything's just crazy today. Yeah, it wasn't all day. It started out slow this morning, but then now it's starting to.
ETH dropped below 3K last night. I'm actually wanting it to go down. I got a bunch of capital on the side. I'm ready to buy.
Yeah, so the problem with ETH until they go to proof of stake is that the higher the price goes, the gas prices in US dollar start just getting more and more and more. ETH would function way better at like $1 right now if you think about it, if it had a higher transaction per second, but proof of stake will fix all of that. So
yeah, and on centralized exchanges, it's not a problem. So I do as much as I love Uniswap and decentralized finance, I do a lot of my trades on centralized finance.
Yep.
because gas fees.
Yep. I think the best way to move from exchange to exchange too is Stellar XLM. It's instant, like literally, like you can go Bittrex to Coinbase and it's literally 15-20 seconds and it's there. XLM, and there's just no fees almost. I think you pay like a penny in transaction fees.
Okay, we have another question here. So I did a little approximate math, and for staking 2,000 USD, you get like $1.83 a day. Is this realistic?
That sounds pretty realistic to me.
It could be. Yeah.
I also think that the important thing to remember with this stuff is that I have a very long-term view of the WAX governance protocol and the token. So you might only be you're earning this, remember, in the WAX governance token. And so that is trading against ETH today at essentially what comes back to $2 a token for a WAX G. So yeah, it sounds like you're getting less than 1 WAX G per day, which I think sounds awesome. So if you are, and again, we went through how expensive all the gas fees are to do this. Like you need to have a very long-term vision if you're interested in this. So definitely, as always, do your own research, make sure you're interested in this. And personally, I wouldn't look at what is my day-to-day now. It's like, am I long-term into this? Because this is not like something you can hop in and out of. It's expensive.
Yeah, you're not going to go in and out.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad that
go long.
Talked. You guys said that, and definitely introduced the audience and myself to this because, there's some things that are, and Louis, I'm sure you can agree with this, that are more built for like a day trading type scenario, right?
Yeah.
And this is more of like an IRA type scenario.
Park it.
Yeah.
Where to me, the way I see it is if I'm going to be holding it anyways, I might as well park it somewhere. It's going to earn me interest or have some sort of perk or, reward for me to park my money there. If they're going to reward me to park my cryptocurrency there, then I'm going to do that. So I feel like it's idle if not.
Here's an interesting comment. So with that approximation is better to spend that 2,000 on graphics cards to mine Ethereum and then exchange that to WAX. But will that be true with ETH2 around the corner? That's a great question.
It's that. So from a miner to someone who maybe wants to mine or is already mining. Right now, the cost of entry is far more than what it used to be. I mean, it was an Antminer L3 for example, 3 years ago was $89. 89. And now they're $2,000 because of Doge. That's what mines Doge. And they only produce, each one only produces maybe 0.06 Litecoin a day, or 30 or 40 Doge a day, maybe each machine. So you need a lot of them to make any money. And so when you start thinking about that, you have that huge equipment cost. Then once you have that huge equipment cost, wait till the power bill comes, or the electrician to set up the equipment, because you're juicing thousands of watts and you have to upgrade your breaker box. So just saying.
And then especially with from the Ethereum point of view, it's moving to proof of stake. It's scheduled for Q1. It's already live on the Beacon chain, is the side chain where this is already, it's not actually securing the network, but it's running sort of in parallel to the network. And that's been running since December. It is a running joke that ETH is never going to proof of stake. Some people are betting against it, but the people who I listen to, which are a lot of the ETH2 developers and that sort of stuff, I'm really into all these podcasts and listening to these guys and keeping up with this news. They're a lot of them are pretty confident Q1 of next year. So I would not, and I don't think you could get your money back out of $2,000 on an Ethereum miner specifically between now and when I think you'd just be better off in the asset.
You'll end up mining Ethereum Classic or mining.
Right, which is, I was just about to bring that up. Louis made an excellent point about when it's fine, once that happens, right, Q1 of next year, will all of the current Ethereum miners move to Ethereum Classic? Like, what are they going to do with their miners, right?
Mm-hmm. They're gonna point them at something. They're not going to let them sit. They're either going to point them at eBay or they're going to point them at another coin. So
yeah.
But I don't. It's the the economic activity on all these other chains is not going to be enough to support the hash power that Ethereum is going to lose, and so I think it's going to be a mix of both. Right, you're absolutely right. Some people are going to point it at Ethereum Classic, but I think these larger operations, the graphics cards, I think they're definitely going to have to downsize. That's what I think.
Cool. All right. Well, you know what? We should save the mining conversation for a future episode, because, I mean, it is called Keys of the Miner. Undoubtedly, Louisville has tons and tons and tons of knowledge in that space. But we're right about an hour. So if there's no more questions from the audience, I'll defer to Sters and ask you, do you have anything to leave our listeners with today?
Yeah, as always, this is not financial advice, and I hope that you found it useful.
Yeah.
And I do. This is an opportunity that I truly believe that this is alpha, and I truly believe this is an opportunity that, if you also do your own research and come to your own conclusions, this is an opportunity that you could front run. And so I encourage everyone just to look into it.
Excellent. And how about you, Louis? What do you got for our listeners?
I would say read the GitHub for WAX, the WAX G, or WAX itself. WAX stands for Worldwide Asset Exchange, and they have a DeFi spot on GitHub. Read it, and it's interesting, and it'll get you excited about what's to come in NFTs, because it kind of seems like everything's just going to be eventually just tied together, almost seamlessly. Like everything's just going to be cross-chain and a happy place for everybody.
Awesome.
Just do your own research.
Excellent. And for me, we will be back next week. I think Louis and I are going to put together a more of a beginner's episode for, what do you think, Louis? We'll maybe talk about liquidity pools or some more DeFi. What do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe breaking down actually just just on like a really like middle school level, what is a liquidity pool?
Cool.
Just what is it?
Right.
And keep it really simple and just make it very, very, very concise. And what it is. And then from there, we can build off of that. And then after a few weeks, I mean, everyone's going to be very well educated and be able to do DeFi.
Hell yeah.
You can't do DeFi without liquidity pools. It doesn't work. It's how you swap. It's how it all it's just how. I mean, if you've ever gone to swap anything on PancakeSwap, Uniswap, any of the swaps that they're out there now, they all want to do food names like sushi. I don't know. So all of those are liquidity pools that you're swapping on and on DeFi. So, I mean, that if you ever wonder where that money comes from, well, you're about to learn.
Cool. Oh, we got one question. And while they're typing that up, I'm trying to just take a little bit of a break here. We're doing this stream because I've been just busting my ass getting ready for Metaforce drop tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm in a couple of liquidity pools. One which is the Taco Wax because I love the app. Is there any LPs you think people are sleeping on?
I mean, I really think the wax one that we were discussing, really honestly, on a big, I'm talking on a big league scale. Now, if you're talking on game to game swap scales on liquidity pools there, like say like, any of those, like PGL to TLM or any types of swaps like those, you can't, those are hard to judge because they're games. So those are on whims of, and on the baseline, those game tokens actually don't really have like any value at all besides in the game. So what you're swapping for is just what you're agreeing to between the two people in that liquidity pool. That's just what the going rate of what the players are willing to swap for. So those are really not something that's the best liquidity pools ever, game tokens. But as far as ones that are sleeping on, it's really the wax one that we're talking about.
Cool.
I'd like to add, but my thing with liquidity pools, and T. Davis brought this up with me offline, is if you're getting this, it's important to understand that you have a constant amount between the two tokens, so it's always X times Y equals K, where that K is a constant. And I say that to mean if one of these skyrockets, you end up with all of the lower asset. So typically when you're looking at liquidity pools, it's important to try to get things that move together. One doesn't take off. And if one did take off, that would be the worst time to pull out your liquidity because you're going to be stuck with all of the lesser value one. And also liquidity providing, you can do it on Wax and you can earn some, but it's actually a safer way in DeFi. There's a lot of, there's some neater things you can do. Remember, liquidity providing is the basic thing where you're earning like 0.3%. You're earning a very small percent. And yield farming is where they pay you some governance token to stake that liquidity pool. So they're paying you for your stake. And that's really where, especially in Ethereum, you're earning a lot of your yield, 100%, 50% easy APRs on these yield farming opportunities.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, low volume pools, liquidity pools, if it's on a fee-based system per trade, say like if you like an Alcor game-to-game token swap pair, that if it's a low volume, you're not going to see any fee production. You would want two coins that are stable in value that have a high frequency of trade, so that there's not a lot of seesawing going on between the value of them. They want to go up together or down together. And either way, up or down in a liquidity pool, if it's fee-based, you're making money off the fees. but even though you're burning alive as prices go down. So there are always risks with the market because prices fluctuate. So
cool. You know what we should do next week, Louis? We should show the audience, to share with the audience, of course, again, not financial advice, all of the pools that the LPs that we're in. Like, I think that would be a cool idea. And, you know, you can maybe critique mine and take a look at, you know, what I have staked, and then kind of look at yours and do the same thing. And let the audience share theirs as well if they have any LPs. I think that'd be a great episode to have towards the end after we discuss how to get into them and all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, and pretty much anyone can create one. Anyone can create a pair. Really, I mean, it's just how DeFi works. They can just pair anything up with anything as long as there's liquidity provided. So neat concept.
Cool. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Listeners, thank you so much for joining. This will go up on YouTube. I had to, there was something wrong with the Twitch earlier, so we're only streaming to Twitch, but I will download it and upload it to YouTube so it's there. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Peace.